So what you did, captured on page 8 of the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 22nd October 2024, which has been described as your ruling, with the greatest respect. The adjournment was an account of the prevailing circumstances, and you related to it. And as far as I'm concerned, that will not qualify for a ruling of the House. Mr. Speaker, thank you.
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, we are correcting votes and proceedings. There's nothing here that says that the Speaker gave a ruling. There's nothing. Mr. Speaker, page 8 says Speaker informed the House. So it was information coming from Mr. Speaker. As for what other people have said on radio, it cannot be part of our votes and proceedings.
Well, I take it that the word ruling has been used loosely because the votes and proceedings are very clear. They refer to what happened that day as formal communications. On both instances, it's captured there as formal communications. But what is generally understood by many, particularly the public, is ruling. And so we are all caught up. Even I have fallen a number of times into that trap, and I've used it a number of times. So it's not a formal ruling, but just communication to the House. And I think that the former majority leader was drawing our attention to it. But Honorable Mama Yarga is right. We are correcting the votes and proceedings of the House, and there's nothing referred there to ruling. It's just information to members. It's a formal communication. Yes, Member of Parliament for Domi Kwabinya.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, also to take you back to the vote and proceedings, which you've already cleared, but I just want to draw your attention to something on page 14 about the Committee on Employment, Labor Relations and Pensions. Honorable Comfort Doyo originally is not a member of the committee, but the matter that we were considering was bothering in her, or was happening in her constituency. And I remember that every time that we met, she made herself available. So if it can be captured as in attendance, at least it would capture the true reflection of what happened on that day. She's always been part of our meetings as the Member of Parliament in the Adan area where the electoral chair issue occurred. Not as a member of the committee, but as the sitting Member of Parliament who has shown concern. Thank you.
Kindly take note. Let's now look at the official report, starting with the one on 5th July 2024, which is a Friday. The proceedings of that day has been captured verbatim in the official report. Any corrections? Yes. Yes, please. You don't have copies?
No, right, Mr. Speaker. Yes, please. We don't have copies.
What about the 9th, 10th, and 11th July? These are all none. We'll have to take it another day. Please, table office, take note of that and get copies across to members. Honorable members, we move to the next item. Statement.
Honorable Speaker, with respect, I proceed with a business statement for the week ending 20th of December 2024. Mr. Speaker, the business committee met and agreed on the business for the week. Same has been captured a 9-page document signed by my very self and attached to this report. Per what we have, we expect to not only end on Friday, but Mr. Speaker, if you would permit, we may have to add Saturday to the sitting so that we could adjourn for the Christmas and then come back. Mr. Speaker, all these that have been proposed are conditioned on resolving some critical outstanding matters, particularly statutory payment and other matters that members expect action on. I expect the whips to take this matter up, the majority and the minority whips to take the outstanding statutory payment matters up so that it will pave the way for us to have a smooth deliberation for the week. The Speaker, the report has been circulated to all members, and I shall proceed to resume my seat and let's invite comment from members so that we bring a finality to the program for the week. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, we take it that the business report has been presented. Any comments? Yes, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to make a comment on the business statement presented by the leader of government business. And Mr. Speaker, one thought that the leader would take a cue from your guidance. There are major developments in the country, and therefore, as a House, Mr. Speaker, one of the most important business this House should preoccupy itself with is the expenditure in advance of appropriation for January to March 2025. Arguably, Mr. Speaker, because the new government, which will assume the powers of government from 7th January, will have to put its acts together in order to get a budget before the reconstituted parliament on midnight of 6th to 7th January. Therefore, what we are expected to do is to know, one, how the workers of this country will be taken care of in respect of compensation. Then, if there are interest payment commitments on loans in order that the country does not stand in default, that would also be addressed. So, Mr. Speaker, whilst you are giving your comments, I'm not sure the leader was listening. So that is major business. As for wanting to commit the new administration to some of the policy guidance, Mr. Speaker, we note that this government has a mandate until midnight of 6th January. But cautiously, they should be guided that they are not committing the incoming administration to some fiscal and budget constraints with some of the decisions they want to make. So he should, as you guided, Mr. Speaker, some of it that he wants to, some of the business he wants to take, even though he says that he wants understanding and consensus, he should be guided and prioritize government business. Our first major business should be the expenditure in advance of appropriation. That this House must concern itself with. The other business can wait. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Blackwell.
Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, the list of priorities for this meeting, Mr. Speaker, I want to respectfully appeal to you. As you read through your list of priorities, I was hoping to hear that we will include work on the constitutional amendment bill on the dual citizenship matter. Because, Mr. Speaker, I thought that we had come very far on that, but I didn't hear you speak to that matter, and it also doesn't find expression here in the business statement. So, Mr. Speaker, if you can probably avert your mind to that. Then, Mr. Speaker, the second issue that I want to raise relates to the tall list of tax waivers that the majority leader continues to present to this House in business statements. Mr. Speaker, we have stated our position on this matter. And considering the fact that all of these matters have been voted against and rejected by the Ghanaian people, why is the majority leader still putting it in the business statement and wanting to get us to work on these matters, which are so unpopular? A tall list, over 40 tax waivers, Mr. Speaker, and this will have serious fiscal implications for the next government. I mean, why do you want to saddle the next government with these huge revenue losses when you have been roundly rejected at the polls? And this is a government talking about coming to cut down obnoxious and nuisance taxes. And then you are creating more fiscal liabilities for us. So, Mr. Speaker, we want to serve notice that these tax waivers, we are not going to support them. So, please listen to the Right Honourable Speaker's list of priorities, particularly the budget for the first 3 months of next year. As for tax waivers, we cannot support you. Honorable Afenyo-Markin, we cannot support you. So you need to really get this out of the business statement. I'm grateful, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chairman. Yes, Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh. Opoku-Prempeh, yes.
It's not hyphenated.
It's not.
It's not.
Only the NAPO is together.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thought the minority leader and the majority leader had come to an understanding as far as government business that we can pursue this session that we are undergoing. Just to get up and say that Ghanaians have totally rejected NPP and all its bills and all its encumbrances is a very, very unfair statement, Mr. Speaker. It's a very, very unfair statement in the sense that there are other things that have been programmed that I think that we shouldn't even bother to do. Why should we at this time take up any bill, whether it is environmental bill or social bill? I think the new government then should come and start, because we are resetting. And I agree, Ghanaians voted for resetting. So, Mr. Speaker, let's probably, the only thing we have to do is to take the vote on account and close shop. We should not continue with any business here, because like Honorable Okujeto said, and rightly so, Ghanaians have voted for the resetting agenda of Nkoko Nkiti. So, not only that, Mr. Speaker, apart from the vote and proceedings and maybe his end of service benefits that he's very much interested in, every other thing, social protection bill, second reading of bills, third reading, so that we have enough time to do Article 71 business and do vote on account, such that, yes, if it is not worth doing, it's not worth doing. Please. So we have agreed on resetting. Let's close shop on everything. Do those that are interested in that will further his own personal interest. And close shop. Thank you.
Honorable members, we don't need to debate this matter. I've guarded the House because I know what happened at the end of 2000, at the end of 2008. I know what happened at the end of 2016. I know the statements that incoming governments made and the outgoing governments. And we are following those good practices. And so before I gave the proposals in my statement, leadership had a bite on it. Where they agree, I captured it. Where they disagreed, I eliminated it. So I just simply said, the items are captured in my statement, sequence them so that we can handle them, because I thought the number one priority is the expenditure in advance of appropriation. In fact, I was told that we will start it today. I'm aware that a request was also made for the Public Accounts Committee reports because of the nature of those reports. And so I captured those things for our consideration. Beyond that, that not for the determination of the 8th Parliament. Then the 9th Parliament will come to continue if the new government considers it necessary to proceed with. So let's take to this agenda and let's get some business done. Please. That will be my focus. Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Just to add that, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Leader of the House suggested we sit on Saturday. Mr. Speaker, that is totally rejected. There's no reason for us to sit on Saturday. Mr. Speaker, on 2 occasions, his side dragged us out of our constituencies to this house to do what he described as urgent business, which is not different from what is placed here. He refused to even come and do his own business. Now that you have called us under normal circumstances, he's asking us to add another day, a Saturday. Mr. Speaker, what is the justification? And that is why I adopt the position by the former running mate of New Patriotic Party, my own friend, Honorable Dr. Opoku Prempeh, who says that we should take the businesses that are urgent, that is appropriation in advance expenditure in advance of appropriation, and those items that are time-bound. And then we call it a day. The new government comes and decide what priorities are. Then we do them, Mr. Speaker. So I think, Leader, we beg you. I know you have a tough job, but to assume that we can do, you know it yourself, we cannot start any bill now. We've never even done it before. It is just not, and I would encourage you. The atmosphere in the House today appears to be cordial. I entreat you to entrench the peaceful nature of this House towards Friday. Any attempt to do other things may not be good. And you also said the whips should do something about welfare. Leader, you have the key to addressing the welfare issues of this House. I have no control over the finance minister. I have no control over the common fund administrator. You can do that. I don't even know the last time I saw the how do you call it, the common fund administrator. All I know is that during the campaign, candidates of a particular party receive a lot of goodies from common fund. It's not from her. It's not from her. Okay. Honorable Dr. Koku Prempeh said that it's not from her. I just said, I didn't mention any name. I said they receive goodies. One particular party received goodies that appear to be goods from common fund. But if it's not from her, fine. But the only people who can cause the Common Fund Administrator to disburse to the assemblies. The only person who can cause the Common Fund Administrator to fulfill her mandate as in the Constitution is you, not our side. But if he fails, maybe we would advise ourselves. So there is no shifting of responsibility. You have...
Mr. Speaker, these items that have been listed on the business statement have not suddenly arisen. Been with us in the spirit of continuity in governance, in the spirit of a certain novel precedence to guide tomorrow. I want to encourage my colleagues to cooperate with government to do these key government business. For instance, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleague Ablakwa of Norton stated that the incoming government intends to reduce taxes and deal with obnoxious the tax regime we have, according to him. If that were to be so, why will this same incoming government reject the 1D1F, which is giving an incentive? Because we don't want too many imposition of taxes on corporate Ghana. What this tax is doing, what this is doing, is to take away the taxes. You say that you are going to repeal taxes. We are giving an incentive. You say no.
Honorable Majority Leader, business statement.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I'm responding to the consensus.
No, we are not debating the subject matter. We are looking at the business statement and the items.
So, Mr. Speaker, what I'm saying is that I did not just come up with these. We sat at the committee. It's a collective decision to bring this proposal. Mr. Speaker, they should know that they are coming into government too. This opposition posture, you better change. I mean, you are no more in opposition. You better stop that, your behavior. You should change your behavior. We should see signs of your readiness to govern and stop this violence, chaotic, bugaga thing. Stop. You are now...
Honorable members, please. We are not just in a conversation. We are in a parliament and we have rules. These items found space on the order paper because they are pending business. And so if you look at the standing orders, you have to keep on capturing them on the standing orders because they are business before the House. They were earlier on admitted by the Speaker. They were presented to the House. They are before us and they are not completed. So they will always find space on the standard, in the order paper. But I have stated clearly that in view of the limitation of time and the season, we will not do justice to this business if we decide to take them now. As a result of that, we should take just a few key items that can keep the wheel of governance going and the public interest attended to. And that is why I mentioned those items, particularly as they've been agreed to by both sides of the House. And so let's take to that. The others, there will be no time to consider them if we really want to do good business for the people of Ghana. Please, let's move on. There are other things that I want to inform you. But yes, Minority Leader.
Right Honorable Speaker, let me also comment on the business statement. The Speaker, this morning I made it clear to my colleague, the Honorable Afenyo Markin, that it will be wrong for an outgoing government to commit an incoming government to millions of US dollars, which will be a fiscal strain on the next budget. The Speaker, I said this on the backdrop that before us, they are proposing to buy ships worth 140 million euros at this time. Mr. Speaker, it is very wrong for a government that is leaving office in 3 weeks, to commit 140 million euros. Mr. Speaker, if it is extremely important for the state, allow the new government to commit them. Right, Honorable Speaker, the tax exemptions before us, if approved, will have a fiscal burden in the next budget. So you are saying that the next government should carry your burden of $350 million? Mr. Speaker, no way. No way. It's not going to happen. Right, Honorable Speaker, as we speak, there is no 2025 budget. Activities before us cannot commit to the 2025 budget. You don't know the priorities of the next government. Look, I reviewed the Hansard before coming here. The Honorable Chairman Sir Bosu is a precedent to me. Okay, it's authority on this matter. In 2016, what he said to us, and it is for that reason why today we were not able to take the loan for Damango water. I brought Damango water before us. They said to us that you cannot commit the next government, and if it is urgent or important, allow the next government to take it. So, Mr. Speaker, issues that will commit this country, as long as our budget is concerned, Mr. Speaker, I beg to say that let us leave it for the next administration to handle. But there are other low-hanging fruits here, like the Environmental Protection Agency bill. It is only, we finished the bill, we have left with only the third reading. Mr. Speaker, that one, if you want to do it, you can do it. If you don't want it, the next minister responsible for environment will come and do it. But anything else, Mr. Speaker, it won't happen. It will not happen. Thank you.
Hello. Is that the Minister for Defense?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I just want to be clear that to take a commercial loan and for Ghana and the IMF to agree only simply means that there must be special reasons why the IMF will agree for Ghana to take a commercial loan. And he knows that it was the IMF itself that had to agree to open up the space for Ghana to be able to take this because Ghana does not have aircraft and ship. It doesn't have aircraft and ship for our military. I don't have a problem with the next administration dealing with it. But when there is an opportunity to do it and you don't do it, that is up to them to be able to do it. I don't have a problem at all. And I just told him that at all, that we don't have a problem. I am saying that you have opportunity to purchase 2 ships from France for the Ghana Navy. If you think that you cannot do it now, Mr. Speaker, you wait and do it when the government comes. We don't have that problem. The new government comes. Nobody has that problem at all. I don't have a problem at all. If the IMF will agree and open for them to borrow next year, I don't have a problem at all with that. And so I will defer to them, Mr. Speaker, for them, because it leaves the burden of some of us to be able to do that. And the military know that they have been chasing this for 3 years. They've had an opportunity to do it, and they are those who purchase it. It's not this government. So if they think that they cannot do it, they have to wait and start all over again. Good luck to them, Mr. Speaker. We should hold on, we should not do it, and good luck to them. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Minority Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, clearly, I think there's a need for this House either to schedule a joint caucus meeting. Mr. Speaker, most of the issues that are being discussed here are not, including even the security issues, are not good for public consumption. Mr. Speaker, it's for a good reason that on issues like this, the House will go into a joint caucus meeting for us to convince each other and know which way to go. Well, if I listen to the kind of discussions that we are having, Mr. Speaker, it doesn't inure to the benefit of Mother Ghana. Therefore, I will advise to schedule a joint caucus meeting along the line so that we can speak across purposes and agree on which way to go. My humble submission, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honourable Member for Ho Central.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I want to call upon the Majority Leader to reconvene a meeting of the Business Committee so that they will take account of the guidance that you have given. You see, this order paper, today's has a lot of items to be taken. And it's wasting a lot of paper. It's wasting a lot of paper. So if they take a cue from the guidance that you have given and redraw the business statement, then we will not have such copious items on the order paper to be taken every day. In consequence, you will find out that whatever limited business we have to do, we can take 2-3 days and finish it. Then we don't even have to wait till Friday before we adjourn. So my humble submission to the Majority Leader is that he should reconvene a business committee meeting to redraw the business statement, taking account of your guidance and all that colleagues have said today on the floor. I thank you.
Yes, Honourable Member for Tamale North. Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the business statement that has been ably presented by the Majority Leader. Mr. Speaker, I will not wish to take part in the ongoing conversation on the other matters. I just want to crave your indulgence and make an appeal, Mr. Speaker, to you and the Business Committee to perhaps consider, even though the time is so short, space for a security briefing on the elections that has just taken place. Mr. Speaker, this government may not have the opportunity again to speak to this nation on how well or not they have handled security, especially in relation to the just ended elections. Mr. Speaker, I think this is important because loss of lives during elections should not become a norm. Our elections should not always record the loss of Ghanaian lives. Mr. Speaker, it's becoming one too many. The first time we recorded this was in the 2020 general elections, where about 6 to 7 lives were lost after the elections. 7 to 8 lives. Mr. Speaker, just this election that has gone by, we are told of about 2 or 3 lives that have been lost. Mr. Speaker, indeed, as we speak, a family in Tolong, in Yankpala, is preparing for a funeral tomorrow with about 15 others nursing
various degrees of injuries. Mr. Speaker, that cannot be accepted without us taking measures and proper briefing on what might have gone wrong. And so, Mr. Speaker, even though we do not have time, I will plead that the Business Committee considers a briefing to this House by either the Defense Minister or the Interior Minister or whoever was responsible for the provision of security in the just ended elections, so that the incoming government perhaps can take a cue and assure us that never again, after these two incidents, will we record loss of lives again during our elections. Mr. Speaker, it is my humble appeal to you and the Business Committee to consider. Thank you.
Honorable members, yes, Dr. Opoku Prempeh, before the Minister for Defense.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you ably and aptly described the agenda that has been agreed between the two leaders. Probably what we didn't do was to say that it is a restated business statement for the rest of the week. But we have gone round and round and round, and we are coming back with a consensus to say maybe the leadership should meet urgently and consider things that the two sides can agree so that we go on. Mr. Speaker, I also don't believe that we are going to sit here and pick and choose. If we are not going to, and we are left with only one or two items, let's do those one or two items and leave the incoming government with a free hand to operate as they want. But what has been agreed, vote on expenditure for the first quarter of next year and other matters that we all agree to. Let's do that, and we can rise in 2-3 days. I don't believe personally that we should go about doing first reading of the bill, second reading of the bill, third reading of the bill, because it all has implications on the fiscal balance of the country. There's not a single bill here that doesn't have got a cost implication for government. So let's leave it to them and let them inherit all the goodness of what we're trying to do, and let them bring in all the badness that they are bringing, so that Ghanaians will know the difference. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minister for Defense.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I just want to support the position that, look, the business committee has met. We have never had a situation where the business committee has met and we have done everything. What we can do within the next 4 days, Mr. Speaker, let's do it. What is not possible, because if the two leaders or the leadership agree on what is possible, let's do it and move on. But Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to what my colleagues said. We as a country agreed from 2008 that ministers of state, government functionaries, including the MMDs, so municipal chief executives, the DCEs, ministers of state, government officials, members of parliament cannot and should not be in charge of security when it comes to election matters. It should be left to the purview of the security services led by the police. So at the national level, it is the Inspector General of Police who is in charge of the security, the committee that oversees the security when it comes to election purposes. And at the regional level, it is the regional police commander who is in charge of it. And at district level, it is the district police commander who is in charge of it. And so that's how it is. There's an election committee at the national, at the regional, and at the district. If you are calling the Minister for Interior, he would just simply come and tell you he was not in charge of it. It's the IGP. If you call any other person, whether it's Defense or Interior or any of the ministers, they would just be there. They will have no answers, because at the day of before elections, the election and after election, is the security people who were in charge, led by the Inspector General of Police. And so if the Speaker thinks, or the House thinks that they want to call the election security to come and brief this House, it cannot be members of, it cannot be ministers or government appointees, because they have no role. And in fact, it was good. It's good that the executive were not in charge of security. It's always been like that, because you cannot be a judge of your own court. It's wrong. And so that's why, if you are calling somebody, it can only be the IGP and his team that will come and then you decide what happens. But I can say The records does not speak, or the record does not support your position that it was just 2020 and 2024 that people died out of election. I can tell you 2004 in Tolong, in Kumbungu, go and find out, and several other places, people lost their lives. But, Mr. Speaker, it's the decision of this House. If they want to call them, we can discuss these things. But just like somebody hinted, some of these discussions, it helps when we first do a committee of the whole, and after that, if we decide that there are some things that we want to talk to the public about, we can talk to the public about. I don't have any problem. If it's a public debate we want to do, we'll be willing to do a public debate on anything, anywhere, anytime, and any place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, would we now proceed to adopt the report? But let me once again reiterate to all of you, particularly those of you who, as members of parliament, are given the opportunity to be ministers of state, together with the leader of government business. The Speaker presides over the business of the House. At least, even if not captured by our rules, the Speaker should have pre-knowledge of the business coming before the House. You don't bring business the debate on the business. These things we are talking about concerning the agreement between the Republic of Ghana and the military, I'm just seeing them on the order paper. I have no document, I have no briefing, I have nothing. And I'm expected by our rules to be the one admitting the business, and the business being referred to the